Everyone, and welcome to the week before fall break, which I know all of you are super duper excited about. I have had some questions from some of you about how to access your grades, and you can go here, click on grades. We got an advertisement there. That's weird. But you can skip, you can go down through here and just kind of take a look at all of your assignments. And it will, this doesn't have any points because it's showing under me. And of course, me being the instructor in this class, I don't have any grades to input here. But it should tell you how many points you have for each assignment. And then up here, you can kind of calculate your grade. So you can kind of go through there and it'll say final calculated grade there. Zero, right now I have a 0 out of a possible 120 points. I will tell you right now, I do have, so I've only got through the narrative in here, your literacy narrative. And because I haven't graded it yet, all of you are missing 20 points. And so if you try to look at your grade right now, it's going to look like you're failing. So I don't want you to panic about that. Just be patient. I'm going to be grading your literacy narratives as quickly as I can. And by the end of the week, you should be able to have an accurate, updated grade. And so what will happen over the course of the semester is I will release assignments as I grade them. And so sometimes I might release that Dropbox to be calculated in with the grade. But if I haven't quite gotten to your assignment yet, then ignore the grade until I get yours graded. Or else it's going to look like you're, getting a B when you've actually got an A. And always ask me, like, if you have any questions, like if you want to know an updated grade, I can always close out any assignments that I haven't graded yet. So that way you can get the most accurate and updated grade for you. So hopefully that answers a few questions. Then let's go on to our next big assignment. So here I am in the content and I've already clicked on our lovely little prompts tab here. So I just updated your interview project so that way it could accurately show the dates for this particular semester. But this is a fun project. I want y'all to have fun with it. The reason we do an interview project is because they are a primary source. Primary sources are things that you go out and get the information for. So they can be interviews, they can be firsthand research, they can be surveys. A lot of times professors will ask for a mixture of both primary and secondary sources in research papers. And so I always encourage students, an interview can be as simple as sending an email to someone and say, hey, could you just answer these questions? I'm working on this research paper. You are an expert in this field. I would love your feedback on this. That can be an interview. They don't have to be a long, drawn-out event. But for this assignment, you will be conducting an interview and then using the information from the interview to construct a profile of that person. So start by thinking of someone you admire or would like to know more about. You can do a teacher, a coach, grandparent, aunt, sibling, mentor. I once had a student that was working on her CNA license and she was working at a nursing home here in Murfreesboro, and there was this little sweet old lady that she absolutely adored that never got any visitors, and she wound up interviewing her and it was so lovely. I mean, I just love learning a little bit more about this sweet lady's life. Decide what you want to learn about them. It could be you would want to know more about your grandparents' childhood. Like my grandfather served in Korea and he didn't like to talk about the war a whole lot, but when I got older, I was curious and he would answer our questions to the best and what he felt comfortable answering. So that's something I wanted to learn more about him, is like that time in the Army. If it's a parent or mentor, you might want to know why they picked their career. Like, why did you ever wonder why your parent has a job that they do? Sometimes that can be a really, really interesting topic to explore. What choices did they make that made them the person that they are today? Did you decide to go to college? Did you drop out of college? Just any type of advice you might give me as someone about to go to college. I've had a lot of high school juniors and seniors interview their siblings who were in college, to say, hey, what was this experience like and what can I learn from you to make that transition easier for me? So you have a lot of freedom with this. So what you need to do is you need to contact the person, explain the assignment and why you chose them, and just kind of say that I just really feel like you're the right person for me to interview for this. Be sure to address any confidentiality issues. Sometimes people don't want other people seeing their information. Just let them know the only people that will be seeing this are my classmates and my professor. It's not like we're going to be publishing this. Agree kind of like on an interview time and how you want it constructed. Sometimes people just do it over email because that's what is the most convenient for them. Some people, they just sit down over a cup of coffee and have their interview. Some do it over the dinner table. Like I've had a lot of students interview their parents and they just do it over dinner one night. An interview can last anywhere from 10 to 90 minutes. If the conversation's really going, don't stop. Let it continue and see where it takes you. So what I would do for this, these are just some suggestions. Start by making a list of about 10 questions. You can do more. These questions should be designed to help you get to know the person better. Again, lots of freedom, lots of different things you can do. It can be a bit of everything if you want to, if you just kind of want to get a whole picture of the person. Avoid questions that would be a simple yes or no, like just don't ask what's your favorite color, what's your favorite TV show. That's one word answers. My favorite color is blue, and right now my favorite TV show is Bluey because it makes my toddler happy. If you listen closely, you might be able to hear Bluey in the background because I am using it to distract him while I make this video. Ask more questions like, what is your favorite color and why? My favorite color is blue because all 4 of my children wound up with blue eyes. And so the color blue reminds me of my children, and that's why it's my favorite color. What's your earliest memory? How did you decide on your career path? What's the dumbest thing you've ever done? I have done dumb with a capital D. I'm not gonna, if any of you want to ask me about all the dumb things I have done, I will be glad to share that with you, just not on a short video. But, I did learn life lessons from the dumb things I have done. What's the one thing you wish you could tell your younger self? How did your past choices shape you into the person you are today? Be aware of constraints. Don't push your interviewee to answer a question that they obviously don't feel comfortable sharing. Like, again, my grandfather is an example. There were certain things, certain horrors that he experienced in the Korean War that he could not talk about. I mean, he mentally could not go there, and we would never pry because we knew that that was going to put him in a place that was going to be bad for him. So just be aware of that. Like sometimes don't be afraid to go off the rails a little bit. Like you have your 10 questions, it's planned, but sometimes interviews can go in these beautiful directions that you aren't anticipating. But if you notice in that process that maybe they're starting to get uncomfortable with some of the way it's going, bring it back and don't push that. All right, that's the biggest piece of advice I can give you when it comes to interviews. Yes. So once you have conducted your interview, you can construct your profile. This does not have to be a formal paper, but it can be. I don't really have a word limit or any type of constraints as far as that goes. Just as long as I can get a good overview of the person that you are interviewing and learn a little bit about them, then that is what is going to get you full credit on that. I will post a rubric at the end of the week. Right now, the only thing I want you to worry about is who am I going to interview? Can I interview them? What do I want to learn about them? So baby steps here. But you can make it a PowerPoint. That's probably the most common one. Prezi podcast. I've had people like just kind of make it kind of like as a podcast feel to it. They'll put some music in the background and just kind of record the interview, and that's really cool. I've had one pagers, infographics. I've had the video. If you do a podcast or video, it can't just be the interview. It needs to be something a little bit more pizzazz to it. Again, kind of making it that podcast-like feel with some music or some type of imagery in there, just to jazz it up, as I said. If you feel more comfortable just writing as a paper, you can do that. So just needless to say, if you do write it as a paper, one page probably won't suffice. You'll probably go a little bit deeper than that. I will provide some answers, some examples of some really good students' projects in the news feed. But yes, this is a chance. This is probably the second most creative project that we'll do this semester, and I just want you to have fun with it. All right. So get started on thinking of who you'd like to interview. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.